on The Chris Smith Show. This is All Things Automotive with Sydney City Lexus and Sydney City Toyota Managing Director, John Roca.
Yes, All Things Automotive with John Roca. Welcome to the studio, sir.
Thanks, Chris. Good morning.
You're dressed up. You usually come in a little bit more casual like I am today, but you're all dressed up. What's going on?
On duty today. I'll be on the floor.
Will you?
Selling some Lexus and Toyotas at Waterloo today.
So, listeners, if you want to see the real John Roca, and no doubt he'll sell you a car at probably a quarter of the price because you're a 2GB listener, go in and see him today.
And I'll make you a lovely coffee as well.
Will you?
I will.
That's nice. That's very, very nice. You've got a stack of calls. I'll get to those in just a second. The obvious question is, what impact will this war in Ukraine have on what we're driving and what we can get access to and what our price of fuel will be?
Yes, and the way it's climbing as well. And I just want to backtrack because we're talking about the Ukraine, obviously, because that's the major issue across the world. But I just want to go back to the pandemic. The pandemic is really what's caused fuel prices to increase. And that is also the case today. So it's a bit of a double whammy.
So we're coming off a high, you're saying?
Yeah, so petrol prices have gone up since the beginning of COVID. They've almost doubled in terms of wholesale price.
Yeah.
So we thought with the pandemic now easing and, distribution of fuel and, people being able to get back to work, prices were meant to ease as the economy was going to improve. But now you throw the Ukraine in and fuel prices have gone up 20% since December, because there's been a threat of the Ukraine.
So one might dampen the other. It's psychological, though, John, because, Ukraine doesn't have much oil at all. Russia has about 10 to 12% of the market. The Americans are saying we'll make up the 10 to 12% of the gap.
Yep.
So a lot of this is psychological, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. And it's basically the industry. They manipulate and turn the taps on and off when they want to regulate it as well. So as the poor consumers, we're the victims in the end.
Yeah, very, very true. So what are you expecting will happen to prices now? I guess it depends very much on how long the Ukraine crisis goes for.
Yeah, well, they're saying nobody knows how long that will go, but we do know that COVID is easing. So it will back off, I think, in the next month or so from the pandemic point of view. How far the Ukraine crisis takes it, we don't know. But at the moment, they are at an all-time high, and they are expected to go up before they come down.
Okay, so now that we're putting sanctions on Russia, they will retaliate, no doubt, on especially European nations. Europe makes a lot of cars. They make a lot of machinery.
Yes.
So I guess there's a flow-on domino effect for our access to those products as well.
Absolutely. And if you connect that to the issues that we've had with resources in terms of building cars and the backlog, it's very well known that Russia has some really good minerals that are used to make motor vehicles in components, parts, computer parts. So there's a lot of that there as well, and that's not going to make things easier. What probably will make things easier, that Russia won't be getting any of the cars built, because with the sanctions, nobody will be importing cars to Russia.
Yeah.
So it might ease it a little bit but they've got some really resourceful minerals that are used for many, many applications, and cars is one of them.
Yeah, interesting. All right, Janine is first cab off the rank, and she wants to talk about a Model T Ford.
Wow.
Go right ahead, Janine. This is great.
Janine, good morning.
Oh, good morning, Chris and John. Yes, my husband and I, we have a 1927 Model T Ford four-door Tourer.
Yes.
It's a complete car, dismantled.
Right.
Right, and we just didn't know what we need to do to go about to sell it.
Right.
We have to move from where we are. We don't have the room where we're going to. And
Janine,
actually, we're a little past it too.
Yeah, and you've got every part for that car. I know exactly what you should do with that.
Some of it's been restored.
Right.
Woodwork renewed in Tasmanian oak.
Nice.
But and the motor is all there, and engine and transmission is still assembled.
And it's in good condition? Most of the parts are in good condition. Obviously, it needs more work.
It needs a lot of work. Parts are in good condition, aren't they?
Well, we don't know.
Oh, we don't know because we haven't taken it apart.
Well, there's a really... Look, if I can just direct you to a place called the Small Ford Club. If you Google smallfordclub.com.au, they will take that car off your hands, and I would say for a good price. because these guys buy the parts individually and they also restore vehicles for individuals. So if you've got that as a collector and all the parts needed, that's where I'd start. smallfordclub.com.au.
All right. I thank you very much.
Good on you. Thank you very much for the call. Bruce is on the line from Chatswood. Go ahead, Bruce.
Yes, good morning. I've got
Bruce.
a 2005 Parado. What I want to know is why can't that be converted to an electric car? I mean, it's worth about $8,000. It's a solid car.
Yes.
Well, it's surely something that it must be an aftermarket conversion to electric cars. Would probably a lot cheaper than buying a new $70,000 one.
Yeah, it would be. Unfortunately, there isn't enough computer power in that car to turn it into an electric car. Pardon me, but you could convert it to gas. That would be the best you could do, but you couldn't convert it to electric.
No, I already got gas.
Oh, you have? Yeah.
Gas,
so you've done that.
Not that, but not some other models. You think they would be able to convert? Not necessarily mine. You know, they're good, solid cars. Anyway, it's just a thought.
They are. Look, I know that in the future you'll be able to buy a Prado in electric, but you'll get a very good trade-in for that car, an electric car as well. So Prados are very sought after. So, yeah, don't be afraid of maybe changing and upgrading to something else.
Yeah, good.
Electric.
Interesting. Good on you, Bruce. Thank you very much for the call. I've got John on the line. Hi there, John.
Hey, John.
Yes, good day. It's look, I'm very much involved with the micro car business. Micro cars are typically cars that have an engine starting from about 49 cc's up to about 600 cc's,
yes,
which are really tiny. Things like Goggomobiles, Messerschmitt.
The old collectibles.
Yeah, collectibles. Now, the reason I'm calling is that our club has got 17 of our micro cars on display at the Powerhouse Museum in Harris Street, Ultimo at the moment. They're going to be there for a few months.
Right.
The Powerhouse have built a beautiful display, and you know, it's not often you see more than 2 or 3 of them in the one place.
No, and a few three-wheelers there, I'd imagine, as part of the collection as well.
Yes, three-wheelers, like the Messerschmitt, the Isetta, Trojan, the Heinkel, they're all three-wheelers, and some of them have got doors that open at the front rather on the side.
Yes.
Really weird little beasties.
Well, I'd really encourage anybody that hasn't seen any of these to go and have a look at this, because they are fascinating, and not as fascinating as the owners. If you can stand there in front of the owner of a micro car, you will be there for hours, and the stories are fantastic.
Is that true, John?
It is true, yeah. Look, on the 30th of January, we took another dozen of our micro cars down to the museum, and we had a mini display outside. So the biggest display of micro cars in Australia ever. There was something like almost 30 micro cars, and we threw in a few of the old Lambretta and Vespa scooters as well, a dozen of those.
Nice.
And it was just amazing, and the people coming past and asking questions.
How tough is it to get those licensed to get on the road?
No problem at all.
No problem. Okay.
Yeah. Historic plates.
As long as they're going, as long as the brakes. I mean, as long as they've got brakes and lights and all that sort of stuff, and they have. It can be a problem if you want to renovate one, because parts may be a little bit hard to get.
Of course, yes. Good on you, John. Powerhouse
have
Museum.
a look myself, I think.
Yeah,
Thanks,
the old Gogomobile.
Yeah.
Love it. John has got a Lexus question for you. Go ahead. Oh, Pam it is. Oh. Hello, Pam.
Hey, Pam.
Oh, hello. I have a 15-year-old IF250, and I love her, and I want to replace her, but I can't get one. They say they're not sending them to Australia.
Correct. There is a blackout on that model, but it won't be discontinued. So you'll have to hang on if you want another IS for another, I would say, 18 months to 2 years. There's a brand new car concept in the IS that's coming to the Lexus family, and a lot of IS owners are anticipating that car. But there are some very good demonstrators that are still around at the moment in the current model. So you will get one, but they are going fast.
Are you interested in a demonstrator, Pam?
Oh, I really haven't thought about that. I've been to your Waterloo place.
Yeah.
And you have a new place at Glebe, don't you?
We do, yeah, just on the corner there at Parramatta Road. But I'm on duty today, Pam, so I'm happy to give you a call off air and just go through a couple of options for you. I'll have a look and see what I've got.
All right, thank you very much.
Good on you, Pam. Hey, what's her name, by the way, Pam? What's her name?
Yes.
You there, Pam? What's her name?
My car?
Yeah.
I call it her, but I've never given her a name.
Maybe next time.
Yes.
Thank you, Pam. Stay right there.
Thanks,
we'll
Pam.
put you through to Leslie, and we'll get John to have a chat with you in about 5 minutes. Barbara's online. Go ahead, Barbara.
Hey, Barbara.
Hello. Look, I'm just wondering, I've got the last 2 years 13 speed humps put in my street, which means I go over those humps 26 times a day. Just twice a day I go, 7 days a week. What damage is that doing to my shock absorbers and my suspension and my brakes wearing out? You've got to slow down before you go over them.
Damn speed humps.
That's a very good question. There actually is a speed recommendation for a speed hump. Is it a normal speed hump that you'd sort of see anywhere in any street?
A little bit high. They're not flat. You've got to slow down and go over carefully.
Mm-hmm. I would say that if you're going over that speed hump at less than 15 kilometres per hour, there's no damage to your car. The car's built to take that. Anything over 15 would cause some damage to the car. So just go very, very slowly. The 15 is not fast, but it will not harm your car.
Yes, very good. Now, I want to have a shout-out to the mob that I got my wheels done. You recommended a place to get my wheels changed colour. So we turned Susie's white, well, not white, but chrome wheels into black wheels to match the car, etc.
Yeah,
they were fantastic.
Yeah, did a good job.
Yeah.
Scientific Motorworks.
Yeah, Scientific
Botany, they're fantastic people. You would have spoken to Nick.
Yeah.
Nick Souter, lovely bloke.
Yeah, there were a couple of there, and they really did a great job. So
good. I'm glad.
Shout out. Thank you so much for all of that. Thank you, John, for coming in. Great callers, and I'll get you to talk with Pam about a new Lexus by the sound of it.
Done.
Thank you,
Good
mate.
on you. Thanks for having me, Chris.
John Roca. There you go. All things automotive. Dealer principal of Sydney City Lexus, Sydney City Toyota, and now Sydney City Toyota in Glebe.